This was prepared a wee while ago, so you might find some of the pictures and stuff are a wee bit out of date, but it doesn't really make any difference. It's to discuss restarts and reboots on your Windows 10 computer. Have you ever come back to that on your computer when you were expecting to see that? If that's the case, then while you were away, your Windows machine has restarted. Now, there's various reasons that it could restart. What I'm calling normal reasons that are mostly collie based. Your wife, child, or collie restarted it. A Microsoft update restarted it. Or an application restarted it. These all happen regularly without comment, without worry. They're part of life. There's also abnormal reasons though, the most common of which are overheating, power issues, particularly brownouts, little spikes when the weather's bad, hard disk failures, which are bad news, and memory leaks, which are becoming less and less regular, less and less of a problem these days. If it's a normal one, then you'll be told about it. Down where the good looking fella is there, you'll see the Windows update notification to say, I've installed new things on your device, and leave it plugged in and I'll start it through the night when you least expect it. And it gives you the option of restarting now, picking a time, or stopping this restart from happening. But when it comes to restarts, if it's a normal restart, then I need to control if, when, and why it restarted. And if it's an abnormal restart, then I want to know if, when, and why it's restarted abnormally. So that's kind of where I'm going today. Let's move on. When Windows Update finishes, it points this thing up to you to say, a restart is required, press this button to restart. But unfortunately, you don't always get that. It puts it up and you say, not now, I'm busy, and you close that. And then you can't bring that back up. So the first trick to do is to show you how to bring that back up. And how we do that, to reset the active hours, if you like, the Windows key plus I will bring up settings. You then go to update and security and you change the active hours. The Windows key plus I brings up the settings. Down at the bottom left there, you see updates and security. There. I click on it and I get the Windows update, and that's essentially the same screen as the one that it gave me at the end of update. Now, Windows is watching when I'm using Windows. You notice that big panel there? It says, we've noticed that you use your device between 2 in the afternoon and 8 o'clock at night. Would you like us to change Windows Update so it happens out with this time? And there's an option down below to change the active hours. Currently, my active hours are set as it comes out the box, which is 8 in the morning to 5 at night, the American working day. So I can down there and change it. Abnormal restarts are either a black screen because your wife, child, or collie or grandchild pulled the plug out, in which case that's fine. They then plug it back in so you don't notice. My collie thinks I'm daft. Or there's this old friend, the blue screen of death. This will happen if you have a memory leak or certain types of memory glitch or certain types of processor glitch, or it comes across an abnormal instruction in a program or whatever. And basically, this is Windows saying, I don't have a recovery route out of here. There's nowhere I can go that puts things back to where they are. It basically means that somebody has programmed something wrong. And so the only option Windows is left with is to press the big red button, a Norwegian reset, as we say in the trade. And so that's the basics. So let's go a wee bit beyond the basics and talk about catching reboots and investigating them. If I use the Windows key plus R, that'll give me the run window. And in the run window, I can bring up control panel. And in control panel, if I go to the top right, I can type advanced. And under advanced, once I've typed advanced in the top right, it will give me everything in the control panel that includes the word advanced. And I pick the one of those, which is advanced system settings. And I click on it. And then down at the bottom of the advanced tab, there's start up and recovery options. People don't ever go there. We're going there today. So if we press on that settings button, then there's a couple of events here. First of all, you can make it right to the log when it has a crash, when it has a system failure. I want it logged so I can find out what happened. And also, I don't want it to restart. When you open your machine up, that automatically restart button is checked, which means it'll automatically restart. Much more informational to me if I come back to the machine and it's shut off because it's shut off. So when it shuts off, it stays shut off. So you uncheck the automatic reset button and you check the box to write it to the logs. And then we wait. Go on with our life, do what we're going to do until we have a reboot event again. And after we've had the reboot event, we go to the Windows secret menu. Now, this is a menu that nobody knows about. Basically, Windows plus X brings up this system menu. And it contains all the groovy stuff. If you're a technician, you spend half your life in the Windows X menu. It's got, look at the system, look at the device manager, the task manager, the file explorer, all the searches, all the stuff that you use for working in the administration of your machine are in the Windows plus X menu. And one of those that I've highlighted is the event viewer. Events are what Microsoft call logs. So normally a real computer has got logging, whereby you log things when they happen. Microsoft calls these events, and the log manager is the event viewer. So I'm clicking in the event viewer, and up comes this fella here. That's how it comes up normally. There are two ways that you can use this event. I'm not going to go into great detail on these. You can either start in the left panel, pick events, or you can start from summary of administrative events. If I go back there, at the top left, you can see event viewer local. And in the middle, you can see summary of administrative events. Those are the two ways to go in here. Just flipping forward. If I start in the left-hand panel, open it up, I can pick Windows logs. I can then pick select, the system logs, sorry. And that'll give me the events. Notice there's 12,000 in this machine at this time, at which point I can click on the ones that are errors. Information is such and such a program tried to access the serial port, such and such a program received an input from so and so. Most of those are garbage, but it's the errors, the important ones that you need to look at. And as I click on the error, down at the bottom, up pops the detail of what the error is, when it occurred, who generated it, what type of error it is, what computer it is, and who was logged in at the time. If I go the other way, I click on the summary. I go back to the main event viewer. I click on the summary of administrative events. I pick the critical events, and that'll show me all the critical events that have happened in this computer. And that way I can see, okay, all the crashes, all the running out of space, all the disk crashes, all the memory crashes, show me all of those. I click on it, I right mouse and say, give me all the instances, and it'll give me a list of all the instances of those errors. Just one more thing that people don't know about. If I go to the Windows key and start typing the word reliability, then I get this lovely little thing that nobody knows about called the reliability history of the computer. And if I get asked to look at somebody's computer, one of the first things, they say, oh, it's forever breaking down, it's forever stopping, it's forever crashing. And one of the first things I'll do is I'll type Windows and reliability, and that'll take me to the reliability history. The reliability history will show me when it's had updates, when it's had reboots, when it's crashed, over days, months, years even, so I can see how reliable this machine has been and what sort of problems this machine is having. Really, really useful if you're fixing computers, if you're looking at people's computers. Really, really useful for keeping an eye on your own computer. If you think, this is doing stuff that I remember 6 months ago, it wasn't doing this. This has happened since such and such. You can then say, yeah, all of those crashes are since I installed GMRI, or since I put in that new update, or whatever it is. You can get a lot of information by looking at the history. Now, how you use it is down at the bottom. There's a view all problem reports button. If you click on it, it'll give you a list of all the problem reports, and you can sort them by where they came from, what type of problem they are, or when they happened. And if you then right mouse any one of those, you can view the technical details, which will tell you what program it was that caused this crash, when it happened, what the cleanup was, and all the information that would be useful to send to the vendor, or if you're a programmer, to go in and look at where the stack was and where the heap was, and all that groovy stuff when this program crashed. Now, I skipped over very quickly the event viewer, and I skipped over the details of the reliability monitor, because we're all adults here. You're all capable of going into those programs, reading the help if you want to, having a dig through them to find out where things are and all that good stuff. You don't need me leading you by the nose through all of this. It's all very, very straightforward. They're both very easy to investigate. You can do no harm in the event monitoring system. The worst that you can do is you can delete the logs, and they're your logs. The machine doesn't need them. Microsoft don't need them. Nobody needs them. They're only there for convenience, to tell you information. And in fact, you might even delete the logs anyway to save space, but that's part of another one of these talks. So you can do no harm with this, but you've now got some ways of finding out what happens if your machine is dropping out on you. Any questions?